So the next one is, what manufacturing differences do I need to be aware of when working sustainably? So I presume you're meaning in terms of the actual factory that you work with and things like that. So if that's the case, then the good news is there's not really many differences between a non-sustainable brand and a sustainable one when it comes to the manufacture process. In terms of the actual step-by-step as to how clothing is produced and what you need to do as a brand, what the manufacturer needs to do, though that actual step-by-step, that process is the same, essentially. The main thing that you'll notice or that you'll need to do as a point of difference if you are looking for a factory who are working sustainably is first that you need to identify what your sustainable values are. If you haven't heard of that before, that term, or haven't thought about that, I do have some training on that which I can link to. So you definitely want to go through that and realize that unfortunately it's not possible right now to make a product that is 100% sustainable. So you need to decide what is your priority. So is that priority that you don't want to create any waste? Is it that you want to use biodegradable fabrics? Is it that you want to conserve water? Really have a think about what your number one concern is when it comes to sustainability, and then making sure that that manufacturer aligns with that. In general, because as we said, the process is pretty much the same in terms of the actual sewing and communication process and all that sort of thing with either kind of production, sustainable or not, there's not going to be too many things to look out for differently with your factory. And a lot of the time you'll be providing the fabrics and the trims and the components anyway. So the people who are actually doing the sewing, the main thing really to think about sustainability wise is just how they're using their energy and what they do with their waste. So you could ask about things like that. Some of the factories, for instance, that I've worked with, they have, they don't actually use any bad, quote unquote, bad energy. They have solar panels, which provide all of the energy that they need for their factory and their production. They don't release any harmful chemicals. They are mindful about recycling within the office, the actual office space within the factory as well. So there's things like that that you can ask, but in general, there's not a huge amount that a factory would do sustainably or that would do differently, because a lot of it's coming down to the product itself and the location of that factory. So if you want to be sustainable and not ship products halfway around the world, of course, you want to be looking for a factory who is local to you and not really far away, because that's going to help with emissions and CO2 and all that bad stuff. So that's something to think